let's just fuck it. Let's just jump straight into it.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, and come on, screen. Where are you? There it is. And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have on the show with me Adam Rawk. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you going, man?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Oh, look, not too bad in lockdown. This is the 6th Pagey Train episode that has been in lockdown. So, look, a distance from afar, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Looking forward to catching up and having a proper scooter, man.
A proper schooner. All right, well, let's look into the murky crystal ball of what it is to try and predict what COVID is going to do. When do you think it's the first time we're going to be able to have a beer together?
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be September. We're going to be pushing September, I reckon.
You reckon September? So August in September?
Yeah, so I reckon sort of maybe mid or late September. Because they're talking about all these vaccine shortages and all this kind of stuff, and they're saying that September they're going to get more restocked in September. So I think she's just going to stretch it right out.
Yeah. I don't know. I would get the Astra shot, but I've had allergic reactions to shots before, so I'm hesitant about getting that. But I don't think that's a recommendation not to get the AstraZeneca if you feel confident.
I'm looking at the same thing because my mum, she's got she's had family history of blood clots, so. I don't want to risk taking that one. I think I want to wait and see what happens, and I definitely will get one. But I'm waiting just to sort of, wait for maybe the Pfizer or the Moderna or something to come out.
Yeah, no, I'm booked in for Pfizer in a couple of months, but it's a long waiting list. So I joined the waiting list a couple of weeks ago. So I understand if you join the waiting list now, it's Christmas that you'll get it.
That's just crazy, isn't it? It's just. Like they had 18 months to get it right, and then we're back in here again.
Oh, dude, we've literally gone from globally from the front of the race to the end of the race, and apparently it's not a race, but it's certainly. I don't think we mean to call it a race, but I think there certainly is a sense of urgency with this public health crisis. So, mate.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I didn't think we're going to we'll go back. I thought, I think everyone got a bit complacent, to be honest. Like when we just saw, there's no COVID anymore, and then all of a sudden, boom, the variant came out, and here we are. We're back into this kind of like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I think the government dropped the ball though. I really do. I think between the state governments and between the government, they started playing games, political games, about, and labeling things, golden standards, unnecessary lockdowns. And then now they've caught themselves in a mode of hypocrisy. Yeah. But they seem to be okay with that. They seem to be rolling with that. I just think, I think the most complacent people are the government. Like, you can't blame the people for being complacent. Yeah. The people, the zeitgeist of the people can only understand what's going on around them.
Yeah.
You need a weather report to know that a cyclone's coming. You know what I mean? Like, if a cyclone's going to hit a town, you tell the town that it's going to come. So that's the duty of care that the government has. And I think, they really. I just don't believe. I can't believe out of a Australian culture of us being deal makers that we didn't get a deal for vaccines.
Yeah, it's crazy just to think that. They had the opportunity there and he went for the cheaper one. We wanted to try and save the country money, but look what it's done.
I think it's even deeper than that. I think it was about producing it in Australia and making sure that his allies own the companies that were producing it. Yeah, there's a lot of money in COVID.
Oh yeah, you can imagine.
You imagine even if it's if it's $10, if you're making $10 or $100 off each COVID injection, so anywhere between $10 and $100 each COVID injection, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So I think it's even more nefarious than that. Like I think that allegedly, I reckon if you chase the money, you would find that it's in their interests financially to produce AstraZeneca.
And that's the way they're going to try and get the money back that they're already losing.
Yeah, they've spent the money and they want their return. So that's why they tried to push the different groups to redefine who can get AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
They've tried to change the narrative on who can get AstraZeneca. I think the biggest people that they pissed off, the Liberal government, was their main constituents, and that's the baby boomers, man.
Yeah.
Because they basically cast them aside and said, we don't fucking care.
Yeah. Well,
And
I love how it kept changing. So they said people over the age of 50 can get AstraZeneca, and then it went up to 60. And now they're saying like teenagers can get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, give us some, it's confusing the public, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think they're deliberately confusing the public. Like I say, I think they need to get a return on their investment. And they bet on the fact that AstraZeneca was going to be a proper and higher ranking vaccine than it is. Yeah. But when compared to Pfizer and other vaccines, even the Johnson & Johnson and the Moderna, that doesn't rank as high. And a smart deal would have been like buy a variety of them. Don't just buy one vaccine. Buy a fucking variety, bro.
Yeah, like, have a mix there so you've got something to fall back on if one's not successful.
Absolutely. That's the first rule in any supply chain. Anyone that's involved in any logistical work could tell you that. And the most average storeman at the most average warehouse could tell you that. Like, you don't need a high education to understand that that's how that kind of game works. Yeah. You don't need to be a doctor. You don't need to be a logistics expert. That's just common sense. Yeah. So I think they got complacent. The government got complacent and they've dropped the ball. Yeah. But with that said, like, I think, not to fully bash out the governments, like some of the things they've done have worked. I think federally, it's failed more than at a state level. I think the states have looked after things as well as they can. Especially with lockdowns initially in the first part of the lockdown. I think the New South Wales, we dropped a bit of the ball on the lockdown initially. They should have just locked it down like the other states do.
But again, little partial lockdowns and stuff like that wasn't working. The other thing that I think that's like a no-brainer is if you're going to have people come in from overseas, you don't put them into a highly populated city to get through a pandemic. And it just takes that one person, like the limo driver that was driving no mask. Yeah. And boom, here we are.
Look, the other thing I hate about it, man, is the stigma, right? When ministers start reading out about where this outbreak happened, they refer to it breaking out in Western Sydney, and it's like, hold on, buddy. No, this broke out in the eastern suburbs. Yeah. So they've turned this into they've politicized it. Yeah. In favour to win with their constituents. They're passing blame. They're passing the buck. Like, even just to get the PM to acknowledge things had gone wrong is near impossible. Yeah. When things are tough, he is gone. He may as well go on fucking holiday.
Yeah. The bushfires.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. I don't think Australia is going to have a short memory when it comes to the last 3 years. I'm surely not. But again, though, I believe that it doesn't matter what government was in place, we were going to end up with a shit sandwich. Can't deny that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually, in a way, not that I'm fully a Labor supporter or a Liberal supporter. I'm like, I know that I'm a paradoxical person. I believe that government's broken, but government's required. Like, there's no... I'm governmentally agnostic, if that makes sense. But
I wish we could just like push the reset button and just start all over again with the government.
Oh man, I was talking about this the other day on another podcast. I reckon there's a way that we can do that in Australia.
The Governor General needs to jump in and go, all right, no, we're sucking the government.
Yeah, I know. I reckon even more than that. I reckon perhaps if we move to federation, we can use that maneuver to restructure the government.
Yeah.
And I think by becoming a federation, we can restructure the government and restructure the constitution and come up with a Bill of Rights for Australia. Because currently we don't have a Bill of Rights. Australians have no rights. They're all implied.
Yeah.
All of our rights are implied. So I'd like to see them in and especially constitutionally, looking at First Australians, looking at the conflict, the convict influence in that, the colonization influence in that. I think all of these things need to, and then immigrants after the fact. I think all of these things need to be acknowledged in the Constitution, And I think collectively we should all have a Bill of Rights that affords us the right to shelter, the right to food and water, the right to education, the right to healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean like a loose list of rights. I mean an actual list of rights that we have as Australians. We should have that. Yeah. And I think, turning it into a federation would help that, or not help that, initiate it.
Yeah.
But again, only wacky, crazy idea though.
Something's going to change, or something's going to give eventually, you know.
It has to, man. It has to. But with that said, if you look, I've looked a lot into this. If you look at everything, even from the global financial crisis. So through the global financial crisis, the only country that really prospered at that time was Australia. Everyone else is going into recession. We went into a boom.
Yeah.
A boom off the back of a boom as well. A boom had already preceded that boom. And then when the Asian market crashed, when the Chinese market crashed, the only country in this part of the world that prospered was Australia again. Yeah. Moments when the housing market is supposed to pop, and this bubble that apparently is out there is supposed to pop. Every time it's supposed to pop, it inflates again.
Well, you can see with the COVID, because people realise they don't have to go travel to the city anymore. They can work from home. So there's a boom happening out west now. Like past the mountains, and going down to like Orange and Bathurst and places like that. They're getting the booms just like really getting bigger, and the housing prices are just going through the roof because people want to get away from the cities, and they want to have that country lifestyle, so they can still do their jobs from home,
Well, even as far out as west as Penrith, man, I was looking at property in Penrith, and I found 2 houses for sale, and I found 53 apartments for sale in Penrith. Yeah. That's the market at the moment. You can find an apartment to buy anywhere.
I think there's an oversupply of apartment buildings in Penrith.
Yeah, I think there's an oversupply apartment now after COVID. Because if you look at the trend of building in Sydney, most of it was apartments to start filling up the city. They couldn't get people to go to the city because there was low supply. So then they oversupplied apartments. And now people are moving out of the city because they realize that they don't have the industrial relationship has changed.
Yeah.
So now they've got all this surplus of apartments. So I think it's a good thing to allow young people to get access to real estate. Yeah. They won't be able to buy a house, but they can buy an apartment.
Yeah, even rentals, maybe rentals might come down a little bit too if there's oversupply.
Oh yeah, I think even with I've heard stories of landlords like asking tenants not to leave, coming up with better arrangements during these lockdowns. Because it's only, if this continually happens, there's only a matter of time before the government won't be able to hand out money, because at some point they're going to run out of money. They're going to go, no, we can't spend any more money because we're at a critical mass.
Yeah.
We're going to lose a service of some kind. They're going to go, well, it's either we pay you now or we get rid of Medicare. They'll probably do something crazy like that, right?
They're already talking. Liberals always had the plan of axing Medicare.
Yeah.
Every time they get in power, that's one of the things on their agenda.
Yeah, but that's what these American ideas, man. It's a very American idea. They want to axe Medicare, and then they want to make $100,000 degrees, which both of those things are very American in nature. And I go, well, in my brain, well, if you're going to be Americanized in this way, we need a Bill of Rights. If you're gonna start screwing us this way, we need a Bill of Rights.
Yeah, well, any course like the bachelor course that I've done, the communications media production, arts media production, those courses have like skyrocketed in price now.
Yeah,
I've looked at I think it was when I'd done it was 20-something thousand. Now they're looking around 40,000.
Yeah,
and my masters that I'm doing is I'm getting my hex is getting bigger and bigger every time
every time you study.
No, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to pay this back. But
I actually just paid off my hex. I just paid it off.
I'm skyrocketing now. I'm I don't know where the cutoff is, but yeah, I'm enjoying doing the masters though. It's been a good.
I think the cutoff's pretty big. I think it's based on time and money. So depending on what your duration at university is versus how much money you've spent, so you can spend a whole bunch of money really quickly up to 100,000. Yeah. But if you've been at uni for more than 6 years, I think they then bring that number down. You can't spend so much.
Yeah.
But it is in the vicinity of 100 grand.
Yeah.
I think you can get up to 100 grand debt with those guys. I mine passed 30, and I only just recently paid it off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll be happy to pay it off. The way I see it is, once I've got the masters and I get that cushy job, you earn 150K a year. It wouldn't matter like paying off, some HEX debt.
Yeah, you'd think that though. You'd think that, but the more you get paid,
the more you earn, the more you burn.
The more you got, the more they take. So it's not a flat rate.
Yeah, that bracket that keeps jumping up.
Yeah. When you get up to high earners, it's 8.5%. So if you're on 100 grand a year, they take $8,500 off you a year. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money out of your gross income.
Well, so the thing is, I just think it's not like the price of uni is just ridiculous. Like when a lot of these politicians and stuff, they done the university for free. The
guys taking it away are the ones that are axing it, of course. Yeah.
Putting the prices up and everything like that.
Well, that's the other thing that's changed, man. COVID has changed the way we look at education and the industrial relationship. Things can be done from home. The two universities that are doing really well at this at the moment is WSU and Sydney University and UTS. These three universities are doing really well in the online space. And with the SAE, and SAE has been quite good with the online review. They're already leading the way.
Yeah, it's all online, and they we do the Zoom catch ups and all that kind of stuff. But it is, I find myself, I like actually going into the place and you learn. I think you learn more when you're actually in an environment like a classroom kind of, or a lecture hall environment. Whereas online, you've really got to be self-disciplined and really get stuck into it, because you can get lost with the whole thing.
Well, as someone who is look, I'm pretty disciplined at research and study. Like, I can really get into it, but I'm probably one of the most laziest people I know. It is extremely challenging to focus and study at home. Working from home, not so much, because I've always worked from home. Like, as a contractor, I've always worked from home for the last decade. I've been doing that. So working from home, it wasn't much of a switch for me. I remember some people talking about having to set up their home offices and, set up a space where they could work from home. I'm like, I already do that. I just sit where I normally do work. But bringing into that though, it's tax time. For you smart kids out there that have been working from home, don't forget you can get 52 cents off, 52 cents per hour of tax from working from home. But if you really squeeze it, I figured out you can do it up to about 83 cents. So do your research and go through. I'd recommend, if you really want to get minimize your tax, go through a tax agent and you can get it up to that 83 cents an hour sort of shit, which takes into account your power usage, your internet usage, your computer as an asset. So don't forget to go do that, kids. Claim your tax.
Yeah,
that's what you pay them for.
Especially now, because we're all working from home, most of us anyway. We're using the power. We've got everything. You're using it. You're consuming that where normally your office would be consuming. You're used to consuming the power in the office, but get that. And then you've got to buy supplies and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, man, totally. The Officeworks bill is way higher this year than it was last year. That's for sure, and the year before. Highly recommend that. My fears at the moment, obviously, with this lockdown, like I projected, a lot of my productions are supposed to be on now. Like, it happened to me last time, actually. I was supposed to be doing a production and I got shut down from COVID, because I can only do productions at certain points of the year because of other events that I run. Gigs, man. So gigs, I keep booking gigs and keep canceling gigs. I haven't advertised any gigs this year in preparation for that. But I have 3 gigs booked, 2 are cancelled, and I've got 1 left that I think would be if it does go ahead, will be a restricted gig. I guess my question is, do you feel comfortable either playing gigs or going to gigs post lockdown?
Definitely still go to gigs. I'll be fine with that. I want to even get back into promoting again. But I actually started working on my website, and before lockdown, there was a bit of a buzz going around. I'm living in the mountains now, so the upper mountains, and there's been a bit of a buzz going around with like the local venue up here. We're putting live music on all the time. So I was having a yarn to them. I had a few ideas, and so yeah, but our band's Mercury Rise hasn't performed in over now probably 3 years, I think. So we
wow.
And then we've had members leave. So we've just had our drummer leave, and so we've just found some new drummers to come and audition, and then boom, lockdown. So
yeah, can't practice.
So yeah, we couldn't even audition a new drummer. We had a singer leave, so that's why that was another thing. So we got a new singer, and so we're doing a few covers in that band too. The singers, we're doing "You Could Be Mine" by Guns N' Roses. That's that's a voice he's got.
Oh yeah.
And so we're doing some a bit of AC/DC. What else are we doing? Some Paranoid, Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
And the rest is all original stuff. So
yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's just it's been a bit of a shame that we haven't been able to do anything. And just as we're starting to get the ball rolling, boom, there we are.
Oh man, in our band it's been really weird. It's been an emotional thing, I guess, because we all do different work. We're all of different marital statuses. Like some of us have kids, some of us don't. Some of us are married, some of us aren't. Some are younger, some are older. Like there's a bit of a mix in the band, and people's motivational levels. When you put someone into a jam room and you all sort of had that physical contact, it's easier to make sort of like creative contracts. You go, man, if you go and do this, I'll go and do that, and I'll meet you back here.
Yeah.
Right. So, but online, it's back to that motivation thing, right? It's hard to remain motivated if you're working from home or not working from home, dealing with your life, and then putting all that aside to then do creative work, and to do that at home without going to a jam room or without being complimented by a jam room can be challenging. So we've all been on different pages at different times, and last lockdown we had it together. I think we even made a small EP. So we'd made an EP, not a small EP, but I think we would have enough material for an EP. So 4 songs that we'd totally written online by sharing content and then adapting that content. But this time it's been harder to motivate the band to write.
Yeah, I kind of feel a sense of that across the whole music industry at the moment. Like there's just people have just we're kind of, our industry's gone at the moment, and because we've gone for this the second time, I think it's just everyone's just like not sure what sort of industry we're going to have after this lockdown is finished, and what if venues are going to even want to take risks in booking bands anymore, because every time they book something in, they've got to cancel it because there's another outbreak. Look what happened with the Blues Festival in Byron Bay, and they've rescheduled that, but that was cancelled within like 12 hours of the show. Like they had everything, all the infrastructure put in place. Boom, there goes
they've already dropped their money down on it. It's done.
And then they're going, okay, hold your tickets, we're rescheduling it, but let's see what happens there. That's meant to be, I think, when was it, October or something, off the top of my head. But we'll see what happens there with that. But I just feel there's a sense of I can't think of the word of it, but
like uncertainty.
Yeah, just for the whole music industry in general. And everyone wants to see music. Like everyone loves music, and if we can't see it, the musicians can't go out and perform. We don't know it's just that uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen next,
Yeah, no, I suppose it's a bit depressing in that way. It's hard to I don't know, but I'm working on other projects at the moment that are interstate. So the interstate projects that I'm working on at the moment, they seem to be flourishing. But again, though, I personally, I don't know if this is across the board for other people, but personally, I'm stuck between doing my side projects that are really succeeding, but I can't leave the state to go and perform.
Yeah.
Or in the state where I can perform, my band is depressed and is not writing new music, so we can only play our old music or do covers. We're doing a few covers lately. Well, not it's not that it's a bad thing to do covers. It's just I don't know. I do get a big buzz out of like performing new music and knowing that it's all come together. But we're doing obscure sort of covers at the moment. We're doing stuff like from Will Haven.
Nice.
Yeah, we're doing some maybe a bit of Lamb of God as well. We're doing some really, really heavy stuff. But I don't know. I'm still like even practicing as well. I ended up investing in some new equipment so I can practice at home into a mic, because there's a difference between like, as a singer, there's a difference practicing with and without a mic.
I know Pro Tools is like I haven't used it for a while, but I was looking into it, and they actually have it set up that you can jam with anyone around the world and in real time as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll have another look at that again.
Man, I'm going to totally look into that. Because most of the band now, most of Mendoza are plugged in some way. Yeah. And because that's how we exchange riffs, it's how we exchange vocal lines, drum recordings, this sort of thing. Because most of us, we do it to a click track, so we'll do all of it to a click track, so we can do a little mini, so not fully produce it, but produce it enough so that we've got something to work with. But yeah, dude, jam live. That would be intense. That'd be really intense.
Do it again. I remember when it came out a few years ago, but yeah, that you can like write it like a live track, and you invite people to come and join, musicians from all over the world, and they advertised it. I think it was on like YouTube or something, and it looks really good. So it'd be good to check it out. Like I never ended up downloading it, but it'd be a bit of fun because it's some of the musicians you can meet on there.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, that's the other side of that I miss, like, because we run a small rehearsal studio just for the band. So the band has its own rehearsal studio. And the thing I miss from going and renting one is you don't run into other bands.
Yeah.
The only time I run in, because that was like jam and practice joints is where you meet other bands. It's where bands socialize.
Networking and stuff as well, you know.
Yeah, because
lots of gigs, and there's Sweet Leaf out at Mount Druitt's totally closed down now. That's gone.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. The one that's I'm not sure, but my guitarist said the one that used to be called Party Pigs. I don't know what that's called. It's at Girraween. That's closed down for good. And then there was it had a different name now. I can't remember what the name of it is, but and then the Dragon's Den, that's gone. That was the one in Penrith. That's closed as well for good.
Oh, did Dragon's Den close down as well?
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
That happened last year when the first lockdown happened. Just that's kind of, to me, looking at that is kind of showing the state of our industry. You know.
Yeah, we're even like the rehearsal studios can't stay open.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe there's like with these things with like Pro Tools and practicing online. That could have an impact on it as well, and operators like me, they go, I'll just build my own studio and then just set it up privately for the band. I'm not helping the industry either, because they're missing out on my $100 a month.
Well, we done the same when one of my old places. We always just jammed at my house. We had it set up like a big lounge room area, and it's great because you don't have to worry about driving anywhere. You just leave it set up and off you go.
Yeah, man, I'm literally 3 minutes down the road from the studio, so I can just like get in the whip and go. Like, it's all sorted. But man, I don't know. We had a practice set up before COVID lockdown. And then we're about to be on a roll again of practicing our new music, writing some other music. We're back into the studio, and we had that, how a band can get that vibe where everyone's clicking and it's starting to work.
Yeah.
We were at that moment after being depressed, and now we're back to being depressed again. And it's like, fuck, man. All right. So now we're going to change our methodology, right? We'll go back to writing online again.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit traumatic for the band. When COVID started, we were starting to get bookings every month.
Playing at Frankie's.
Yeah, man, we played it. Yeah, that was our last gig, man. Was at Frankie's. You know, you get in the paper, you get on Frankie, you play at Frankie's, your stuff's on the radio, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
You know? As a shit kicking garage band that does, you know, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Good venue. It's a shame. I heard they were actually going to be getting relocated because of a tram line they're trying to build through.
Yeah, air quotations relocated. Is it going to be relocated, or are they just going to knock it over?
Everyone's like that. There's actually everyone was kicking a stink up about it and put out a petition to stop it from happening.
Yeah, man, some big bands have played at that venue, man.
Oh, yeah. It's just a classic joint, isn't it?
It is the best. It is iconic, man. But these iconic places close, man. Even things that are iconic that move around the city, you know, things like the Valve Bar, man. The Valve Bar closing down at the Agincourt. Was it the Agincourt? I always get that word wrong. You know the pub I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Agincourt. Yeah.
The Agincourt, yeah.
It used to be at Tempe. The old Valve Bar was at Tempe originally.
Yeah, I played at Tempe, man. I've played at Tempe.
That was a mad little venue, but it was really hard to get to, and you know, it's hard to get crowds there and stuff. But I played. It's actually funny because on my memories just come up. I was in a band called the Dirty Grotto back in the day. I've been in a heap of bands, but this was one of them. One of my stints, and we played at the Valve Bar at Tempe, and it just popped up on my memories. That was a good gig. Actually, we've got to rent a crowd in there. So
yeah, rent a crowd, all the girlfriends of the bands, the other band's girlfriends, and 3 of their friends coming along, and maybe some brothers and some other siblings, cousins and whatnot. Anyone I can drag to get to a gig to make it look a bit more full for the photos.
You wear them out eventually. You go, I'm not going to go to that gig now. I've had enough. I've seen your band 50 times. That's enough.
yeah. Well, that's where you want to get. Like, you don't want to headline, man. You want to. That's I reckon the real secret to being in a good band, man, is headlining like twice a year, but the rest of your gigs just hopping on bills, man.
Yeah.
Just be a fill-in band. Be a gun for hire. That's the go. That's how you do it.
Touring would be the best thing. Like, I've done a small tour. I've toured with Spy vs. Spy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, one of my other bands I was in, called Remo Street. We done a 4-day stint with them, 4 gigs in a row. So it was like down at Huskisson, and then Ulladulla, and Merimbula, and then back up to Bateman's Bay. And
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, so we're hanging out with the boys, and Michael Wiley's passed, God bless his soul. But yeah, he that was a mad tour, and some of the stories I heard about all the Spy boys, well, I had some fun times.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, and I definitely.
They're massive over in Brazil, and they still are. Like, they've got a new lineup now, but they're still a massive following in Brazil. Like, they just go on there and they're playing these massive stadiums, you know, like. And we're lugging PA systems as well on that one. So, after day 4, I was absolutely stuffed.
yeah, I bet, man. Living in small spaces. I did a post today. I meme ripped somebody. I can't remember who I meme ripped. But what did it say? The definition of a musician: someone that loads $5,000 worth of music gear into a $500 car in order to drive 100 kilometers to be paid $50 for a gig. So
that one floating around over the years. Sometimes you get paid $50. They pay us in beer.
Yeah, well, you may as well. It's cheaper for them, and you're just going to spend it anyway. So it's just money going back into there. But but that's why Frankie's was a great venue, man. You'd show up, they'd have a beer for you for the bands, and have pizza for the bands. So they feed you, get you drunk, and then they pay you for the show.
Oh, that's unreal, isn't it?
And that's what a venue should do, man.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what fee you get. If you're a band, man, any fee, that money goes somewhere generally positive for the band.
Yeah, that's it. It might cover some fuel or something like that.
Yeah, cover a little bit of petrol, or it might
on the drum kit, you know.
Yeah, or just goes into the kitty for their next EP. Like it goes somewhere. That's why we try and sell merch, man. That's the whole idea of selling merch. You're trying to
merch is the way to go. It shows that really pushes up the revenue
massively.
Yeah,
massively. I'm actually wearing a prototype right now. This is a prototype Mendoza shirt.
It's kind of got like a Simpsons theme on it there.
Yeah. That's right. So you got Mendoza. That's him. That's the Mendoza and McBain. Press starts like a computer game. But these ones are hard to get. They are out there. We sold these ones at a really high price. We were getting like $40 for these shirts.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's where you get that. Seriously, it's merch is like I was helping. When we'd done that tour with Spies, I was helping do the merch, and they were just raking it in.
Yeah.
CDs and T-shirts and hats and stubby holders and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like really cleaning up on that, and yeah, it's definitely what I've always said to the bands I've been in is we need to get our merch sorted out for our shows, because that's seriously where you really make if you're not getting paid much from the venue, you can make it on the other way. If people like your band, you're going to sell them your merch.
Yeah, man. We've even sold our merch online. We've had to like mail shirts to people. We've had to mail EPs to people. Weirdly enough, we get a bit of radio play down in Melbourne.
Oh, nice.
And we've had like strange requests. Like we always ask, like when someone mails us, we're like, whose cousin's this? Who the fuck is this? Why don't they just ring us and tell us they want a shirt? But yeah, there's been like a few instances of us actually mailing interstate people that want merch. So like, but to collect merch these days is a bit more complicated. It used to be just a money tin and you collect cash, right? But most people don't have cash on them anymore. So a problem that we ran into is people saying, "Oh, we don't have cash." So we bought I think it was for like $30. We bought a little card tapper.
Yeah. I've seen them.
That links to a PayPal.
Yeah.
So we collect the money on PayPal at the venue, so we can actually do cashless transactions.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is PayPal gets like whatever percent. So we had to work out like the shirt cost $31.94, so that we could get our profit margin and pay PayPal.
Yeah.
The cashless transaction sounds great. But really, we'd prefer the cash, but people just don't carry it anymore.
Yeah.
But
people are getting a bit more afraid of it because of the pandemic too. So that's
But no, look, the big lesson is, kids, if you're doing a band, you got to have some merch. Doing anything really, merch will help you along the way.
And also, it's like free advertising too. Like they're wearing wearing the band shirt around, so you're getting. The bands are getting, free advertisement,
Yeah, man. I've been to a few concerts where people have been wearing my band shirt. I'm like, that's fucking awesome, man. Yeah. That's really cool. Especially if you don't know the person, that's even better. Yeah. Seeing the band shirt out there is pretty cool. Totally recommend it. But I just hope, we were supposed to be doing a gig in November. Won't say the venue yet in case we get cancelled. Yeah. But Mendoza's supposed to be doing a gig again in November. Actually, hey, if Mercury Rising wants to play, man, let me know. I've actually got a spot.
Oh, we'll be keen, and like similar style of music too. So
yeah, man. No, serious. I've got one of the bands broke up that we had put up. So we've got a spot, man. If you guys want it in November,
hopefully we'll be ready. But just depends on how long this lockdown thing lasts, and hopefully there's still some rehearsal studios left.
Yeah.
We're coming down to use your one.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, if you need to borrow our studio, man, you can totally do that.
Yeah,
that'd be fun, actually. That'd be fun. We should totally just do it anyway.
Yeah, have a once it could be an after lockdown celebration jam session.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. Oh, well, look, obviously we'll stay on after our show today. Yeah. But look, you've heard it here first on the Pagey train. This is the first time I've done a band deal on air, so that's pretty fucking cool. I've actually there's another mob you've just reminded me I've got to go chase. I won't mention them yet. So I'm trying to put that now that if I get you guys on, I've got a really good contrast of different bands, man. So It's
No,
all
we'll be
heavy.
playing
It's
the
all heavy
boys.
rock, all heavy metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it'd be a good show. So hopefully,
Boys are keen. They're really itching to get out and play, you know. So
yeah, man. Oh,
I
it's
reckon
sweet.
we should, as long as this lockdown finishes when it does, we'll have something to work towards, you know.
Yeah, if it finishes in October, because then we got October, November, we've got 5 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be able to get it all sorted out by then.
Yeah, man. And what I'll try and do is I'll buy a whole bunch of masks with our band names on it. We'll sell it as merch.
There you go. That's another thing. I bought this Australian research. It's what is it? It's called ARS, Australian Research and Exploration Mask. Space exploration. Yeah. I walk around the shops wearing it's got the writing on the bottom, like real thin writing, and it looks hilarious. And some of the looks I've been getting.
Yeah, I've got arse on my face. Okay, what's the problem?
It was that when ScoMo, he said they announced a space exploration in Australia, and this group on Facebook they put it together and came up with us.
Yeah, Australian Research and Explorations.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Space exploration.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
All right, man. Look, I think we're just about. Sorry again.
On Facebook, if you want to check it out, it's hilarious. Some of the stuff that they put on there.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I think we're just about out of time, Adam.
No worries.
If guys want to go and check out where they can find Mercury Rising, where can they go?
It's Mercury Rise.
Mercury Rise, sorry.
Yeah, and it's just on Facebook. You'll find us on there. And we've also got a EP that's on Spotify, on all your music streaming services, Apple Music and YouTube. And there's some live videos of us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys certainly have a lot of content out there, so you kids be sure to go out there and check out Mercury Rise. I always get your band mixed up with that. What was that movie? It was Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis.
We've cropped that a few times.
Yeah.
No, we're like a five-piece rock band. Marshall Stacks, and I've got the fridge. I'm just looking at over there.
Yeah,
big fridge. My back's a bit sore over the years trying to cut that gear around.
Yeah, we've actually got a couple of trolleys. We used to have a band van, but we got rid of the band van. But yeah, it certainly is not good for the lower back. Even some of these axes that these boys hold on to on stage are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely that's why you need roadies.
Well, at this point, I don't think I'm ever going to get a roadie, mate. So I'm just going to have to put up with the fact that I'll be a roadie. My band's probably listening to this, going, "You don't fucking help lift anything anyway, Roscoe. You're the front man." Yeah. I'm usually out there doing the PR and shit.
You know what we call that? The front people. They got the LSD, man, lead singer disease.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of truth in that. Man, but we got to work the room. It's what we do. We're the talkative ones. You got to go talk to the promoter and go talk to the crowd. Go shake everyone's hands. Yeah, say good day. It's part of the show.
You got to do that network.
That's it. You got to show that appreciation, baby. You got to get out there and make people feel good.
100%.
All right, but anyway, man, thank you so much for being on the show. I'll definitely get you back in the studio at some point. That'll be a lot of fun.
That's great. Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, you guys have been watching the Pagey Train. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple iTunes. You can find us on Amazon Play. You can also find us on Overcast, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and of course, YouTube. And if you've been watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Every subscription helps. You've been watching the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. All right, that's the show, man. All done.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think another band would be good, man. If you